if we get there, knock on wood, sorry, Ben, if you can hear this, the day that they're at 83, and it's that 84th possible win, that watch party at Potawatomi is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And not that I'm stat watching or standings watching, but 53 wins makes it only 31 more to go.
Oh, that's good math. That's good math. I like that.
With a lot of the season, a whole half, some might say.
When can we start the countdown? 20 games?
I think you have to get within the 20 range.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when, and especially because it seems like it's probably going to happen with a significant time left in the season, that's when we can start talking about it. But if we're going to talk excitement, we can't look any further than what we watched happen yesterday. Jacob Misiorowski.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Have you ever seen the movie Elf?
Yes,
it's one of my favorite movies.
have.
Great movie. I can't believe how old it is. There's a scene in that movie. I think he's running through like the winding doors, and he's yelling, I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. That's how I feel. I love the Brewers. I'm a huge Brewers fan. But it's probably been since 2018 that I'm living and dying with every pitch now at this point, and it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. The entire roster. I even said some bad things about Andrew Monasterio today. I still believe him, but I still love him.
Yes, yesterday the Miz pitched 6 innings, gave up only 1 earned run, struck out 12, and I believe struck out 6 in a row to start the game after missed 1 pitch, and Shohei Ohtani takes advantage.
So I missed it. Was it the first pitch of the game?
No, I believe he had him in an 0-2 count and threw a change to him that was a little too much in the zone. It's not like it was a terrible pitch. Most people probably ground out.
It went 431.
Yeah.
If you're going to give up a run, oh no, he gave up 1 run to the greatest roster on paper that baseball has probably ever seen, and you are in your, 4th, 5th start? I'm okay with the way Misiorowski pitched yesterday. It's pretty good. Strike
looking, strike swinging, home run. And then he didn't allow a guy on base for the next... Oh, in the 3rd, we did have a double, but he ended up striking out 2 more in that inning after getting a sac fly and just kept mowing down one of the better lineups we see in baseball, one of the better lineups we've seen, honestly, in like the modern times. They do have some guys out, but every time Jacob Misiorowski goes out there, it is must see.
Must watch television, must be at the ballpark, everything. I believe crowds that they're getting.
Yes, I believe yesterday was 38,000 they had.
Yeah, and then so I was talking to my aunt the other day, and she was saying how they go to this bar before Brewers games. I can't give any free plugs, but they have a shuttle. It's right on Miller Parkway, right? And they were talking to the owner of the bar, and they are doing better when Misiorowski pitches than opening day.
Yes, yeah.
That's insane.
They had more people for the Skeens-Misiorowski matchup a couple weeks ago, and then ho-hum, future Hall of Famer, sure thing, Clayton Kershaw, who just recorded his 3,000th strikeout in his previous start, comes into town, and I don't know if you saw this at all, and I don't know if we have any audio of it. That's my fault. But Clayton Kershaw was asked about Jacob Misiorowski, and all he really had to say about him was that he saw he rolled his ankle, and let's be frank, Clayton Kershaw is kind of at the legend status, where he doesn't need to know everybody.
For sure.
But the kid throwing 102 miles per hour and carrying perfect games and no-hitters into multiple games, I have a feeling Clayton Kershaw had heard about the Miz before that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those things where you just like don't acknowledge them, but also at the same time, athletes are weird. And by that, I mean they're so locked into what they are doing and what their team is doing that now a pitcher knowing another pitcher, you probably do, but I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to know that the guy who just won a World Series with the Dodgers and is locked in on what might be his final season doesn't know this new hot prospect the Brewers brought up. Now, do you say that publicly? If you're anyone other than Clayton Kershaw, you don't.
No.
But he's Clayton Kershaw. It is what it is.
I do want to take a listen here to the Clayton Kershaw audio of him after the game reacting to what he witnessed with the Miz.
Misiorowski. Yeah, I know him now, huh? I mean, that was super impressive. Yeah, I mean, that was unbelievable. It was really special. I mean, everything, obviously the velo, but he's got 4 pitches, commands the ball, and made it. I mean, I don't know how you hit that, honestly. That's just really tough. So
It's hard to sort of power rank the accolades and the praise he gave him. I believe to use impressive, unbelievable. He said, I don't know how you hit that.
Yeah,
It was just heaps and heaps of praise.
And honestly, whatever he said, when he didn't know who he was, to be able to then go back and start the question or the answer by laughing about it. Yeah, I know who he is now. You know what? Good for you.
Yes.
That's an awesome moment from Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
As a guy who's very easy to like, it just made him even all the more likable. But it's the Milwaukee Brewers at the end of the day. Like, people around the league might not know until you make them notice you, and that's just kind of what happens playing here. And I think that's great. So to have the respect of a guy like that, who's first ballot, unanimous Hall of Famer, it better be, at least. I know baseball's weird like that, but it's awesome. I love hearing that about honestly the brightest young star in Wisconsin sports, ?
Yeah. I mean, currently, yes. There is nobody that can sort of raise up the must-watch flag of, if the Miz is pitching, you want to be near a TV or near your radio and with eyes and ears on it, paying attention. This morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Milwaukee, we discussed who are the guys who not only came with the hype, but delivered it. And we got a ton of names, and we were trying to think back, and we were thinking, how far can we go? Ryan Braun came up. Obviously, he won the Rookie of the Year and playing, I believe it was around 113 games. People were mentioning, like, Ron Dane, Jonathan Taylor. Giannis got some shout out, but Giannis was a slow burn. Giannis was, like, what was it, his 4th year he won the most improved player? And
unless you were one of the 4 people who saw, like, the YouTube highlights from the
right.
second division in Greece. Like, I'm a Bucks fan, obviously, and I remember buying a Giannis shirt his rookie year, but no one
right,
knew he would turn into
that was a future
one of the
investment.
best of all time. I lost it. I don't know what to do with it.
So I do want to put a question out to the audience, and I would like people to sort of weigh in, give us their thoughts, because we're going to do something unique. We don't want to do what everyone else has done today, because The Miz, as deservingly so, has been the entire conversation for the day. And we are talking about must-watch. I want to discuss, and throughout the show, we'll get your feedback on the talk and text line in the YouTube chat, and feel free to call 800-990-3776. I want to know what Wisconsin sports moment, if you could go back in the Wayback Machine, take a time machine and go and see an event that occurred in Wisconsin. So something that took place here. There's plenty of things to think about. There's some I've been to that might not make everyone's list, but certainly make my personal bucket list of I'm glad I was there.
From whenever? Like, I didn't have to be alive for this?
You don't have to be alive.
Nice.
Because I do think the Ice Bowl...
this is fun.
The Ice Bowl does deserve a little shout out here. One that comes to mind right away that I attended and had the honor of. I bought a cheap ticket right before the game started. It was the playoffs. It was against the Diamondbacks. It was the T-Plush walk-off to win that series.
You were at that with a cheap ticket?
I was.
Oh, it was cheap.
This was the those secondhand websites? This was during the initial come out of those before everybody kind of knew the game. So I was able to get in the door and get outfield bleacher seats for $80.
Oh, so I was thinking when you said cheap tickets, you got in the Game 5 of the playoff series by $10?
I say cheap because the people behind me had also bought their tickets secondhand, and they were like $250.
That makes a lot more sense.
So, yes.
Interesting.
For an elimination game, for a team that,
a good one to be at.
Milwaukee loves. I was at that one. I think the one that seemingly everybody says they were at, and I have questions about it, is obviously the David Gilreath returns the opening kickoff.
I was at that. I can vouch. I worked it.
Yes, you have a great excuse for being there, but if you ask anybody who's a Badgers fan, they were all there.
Before we get to, because the guy we're going to talk to next will definitely have some great responses to this. So I was a freshman in college, and I got the opportunity to work for ESPN 3D. Do you remember when 3D TVs were kind of a thing?
Yes.
And just a friend was like, hey, my job was to stand on a camera well as security.
Oh.
And then 80,000 people rushed the field, and I was security for that camera.
Do you think there's
that camera went untouched?
Do you think there's anybody out there who watched that game in 3D that is listening in the audience right now?
Not a single soul.
Because as I understand it, you had to still use the glasses in your own home, correct?
I honestly had no idea. I was there. I know that I got paid like $120. ESPN sent a check about 9 months later, and it was great.
All right. Well, get us your answers. The all-time events you would wish you could be at, that you wish you could have been at. There's plenty out there, but I need them to be events that happened in Wisconsin. There's plenty of Badgers, Bucks games,
so
Packers
Super Bowls
games.
Don't count. D. Wade's triple-double against Kentucky doesn't count.
Right.
There's a lot of games like that. The Final Fours don't count.
I will be doing some fact-checking on the responses we get. I'm not going to do that hard of fact-checking, though.
No, you know what? Nah, we're not fact-checking. Honor system.
All right, honor system. Do your own fact-checking. That's how the world works anyways right now, right?
I am not checking a single thing. If you tell me that it took place in Wisconsin, guess what? I believe you.
All righty, this is the Homer Hour with Josh and Tony. Coming up next, we've got a guy who's attended, I would bet, quite a few of those bucket list moments.
His answer is going to be so obscure. It's going to be some track and field meet from the 80s that this historian played in. I don't know.
Do you think he could come up with a loss that is like one of those all-time moments? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. Jason Wilde coming up next on the Homer Hour.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Still a difficult ride out there right now. Of course, the game is letting out of AmFam Field, so you're seeing delays pretty much east and westbound on 94 across the board there, so be prepared for that. Northbound 43 backing up from about Kilbourne all the way up past Capitol Drive to Silver Spring. Southbound slowing from Capitol down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Southbound on 894, you got backups out of the Zoo Interchange all the way down to the Hale, swinging eastbound to Forest Home. Westbound 894 backed up out of the Mitchell Interchange all the way to 68th. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner dedicated to helping businesses do business better. Visit jamesimaging.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly clear, cooler, a low of 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 77 at the lake, 82 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
The reality is they were going to be paying him and probably not getting the best of him.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
This strikes me as a team that is putting its money where its mouth is when it comes to, we want Giannis to believe that we are busting our tails to be a contender and make him want to stay here. This makes me think John Horst is a pretty smart guy.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
According to American writer H.L. Mencken, a well-stocked bar can create over 17 billion different cocktails. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. I don't know if 17 billion is accurate or not, but I do know that Discount Liquor is the place to find everything you need to be well-stocked for any occasion. Discount Liquor is Wisconsin's home to over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines. Our unparalleled selection is rivaled only by our incredible savings and everyday low prices. And we know how to take care of our customers, no matter the occasion. In fact, Discount Liquor has won numerous national and local awards. Visit Discount Liquor at our Milwaukee or Waukesha locations. Family owned and operated since 1960.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. Check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow.
With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Eat up, buddy. It's almost time for school.
You take charge of your home. You take charge of your work. Don't forget to take charge of your gut health, too, with Nature Made Probiotics. Nature Made has clinically studied probiotics that work with your digestive tract's natural bacteria, so you won't miss a beat in your daily routine. Find us in the vitamin aisle. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Skip the line and order online with a Cousin Subs mobile app and join the Cousins Club. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Josh DiMaggio and Tony Carter hang you in for the GOAT of radio, Steve the Homer True.
Yeah, it took two of us.
Let's send it over to another GOAT, a GOAT in my eyes, Jason Wilde. Good afternoon, Jason. How are you?
GOAT is way too strong for me, but not too strong for Homer. How you guys doing?
I would like to see you with a goatee at some point. Did you ever grow one?
You had a
I've
goatee
done that.
for sure.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah, no, I've done it. It's not good. Better than the hearing, or maybe not, but certainly not good now because there'd be a lot of gray in it, and I don't need to look any older than I am.
Jason is the most self-aware person in media, and I love it. Thanks,
you got to be. It's smart to be that way instead of being like Alex Strofe, who thinks he can do everything and then
who can do nothing. Literally can't do any. The guy cannot walk in a straight line and chew gum. If he ever had to take a sobriety test, it could be stone cold sober. He'd fail.
All right, Jason, we are to number 12, which I think if we were to actually count the names you listed, we'd be at around 20 of the most important Packers.
No, false.
Sorry for the inaccuracy.
It's 30.
The number 12 for the most important Packers are Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. For all the people who haven't taken the time yet to visit and read on Channel 3000, which everyone should be doing, what was your big takeaway from that portion of the top 20 list you wrote up?
Yeah, so I have certainly cheated the numbers. I'll own up to that, but I think I've only doubled up twice, maybe three times now, and there's a few more to come. But I think, look, both with Dontavion Wicks and Jaden Reed the previous day, and today with Watson and Dobbs, I think doubling up makes sense, in part because if you know which ones of those guys are going to be the most important, good for you, man, because I don't. Like, I know we've spent a lot of time, thanks to our buddy Gabe, discussing, the veracity of just how important Jaden Reed is, despite leading them in receptions and yards each of the last two seasons, talking about playing time and whatever else. But I don't know how this year is going to shake out. You have those top four. Obviously, Watson, we don't know exactly when he'll play in 2025. And then you add a first-round pick for the first time in 23 years by the Packers and Matthew Golden. And I don't know. I put Matthew Golden at 19 because I've seen a lot of really good rookie wide receivers come in who weren't that good when they were rookies, and they ended up becoming great players for this organization. So I'm curious to see how things shake out at wide receiver, but I just don't know. And I think sometimes it's okay to admit that you don't know, but I'm very eager to find out how it's going to play out.
Jason, one of the names I want to ask you about is someone who's not currently on the roster, nor do I think he will be, but because it's the offseason and it's silly season, what's the better chance? The Brewers win the World Series or Goody pulls the trigger and gets us TJ Watt?
Brewers winning the World Series, and I don't think it's close, right?
I kind of figured, yeah.
Plus 4,000 at Potawatomi Sportsbook, by the way.
For Goody getting TJ Watt or the Brewers winning
the Brewers winning the World Series?
Goody getting TJ Watt's probably plus 10,000.
Yeah, exactly. And look, again, you guys know me. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in things that I'm not an expert in. But we had Jeff Passan on our show earlier in the week, and he sure sounded pretty bullish on the Brewers. And, they just took what, 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers?
3 out of 3, sir. Did you miss Did you miss the ending today?
Sweep.
I did. I was otherwise detained.
Oh,
but
can we?
The bottom line is, yeah, they're really good. And
Yates brings home the pitch. And a ground ball through the left side, into left field for a base hit. Frelick trots home, and Jackson Churio has walked off the Dodgers here this afternoon in Milwaukee.
I just thought you needed that. It's beautiful.
I did. Was that Jesse Nelson on the call? I know
Sure
he's
was.
a pretty good play-by-play guy. Just ask him.
That was Lane Grindle, our friend at WTMJ. Credit to them for the call.
No, it's always good to take a shot at Jesse. I love it.
So anyway, I don't think they're getting T.J. Watt. I don't think they're getting. I don't think they're getting anybody of import, right? Like, I just don't. Even though they have the cap space to do it, I just don't see Goody doing that. And so when Jeff Passan says that the Brewers could be legitimate World Series contenders, I'm not sure it's even in the same conversation, Tony, that I would take either of those bets, but certainly not the T.J. Watt one.
That's fair. Can I just quickly follow up? You said they have the cap space to do it. Why are they? Why do they not spend the money then? Like, where does this go? What are they just waiting for some of these contracts, like the Elton Jenkins and the Zach Toms of the world?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know if they're going to pay them either, right? I mean, I think they're going to pay Zach Tom, but again, 6 weeks ago we were being told that he was in a competition for his starting job, which is preposterous. So I don't know. Like, I would say this. I would expect them to extend Zach Tom. He's the only one that I expect them to extend. Like, they're not going to, at least I don't think so, extend Quay Walker, who did not get the fifth-year option for 2026. I don't think they're going to, truly extend Elton Jenkins. Now, if they give in and guarantee some of the remaining 2 years left on his existing deal like he wants them to, maybe then you can view that as a extension, because they'll probably add on some dummy years that are voidable. But yeah, I don't think that I think if Goody's being honest, he really did not like, where they were at while Rodgers was still the quarterback the last few years, which again, I kind of like going to NFC championship games or being the number one seed, but I don't think he liked where they were cap-wise and pushing out a lot of money. That's why they ate all the money for Rodgers after the trade and not designating that as a post-June 1 trade a couple of years ago. And they have so much cap space now that they did something I've never seen a team do, which is release a player after June 1st and designate him as a pre-June 1st release, so they could eat all the dead cap money this year and not push any of Jair Alexander's money into next year, which, again, that tells you that they've got plenty of cap room if they're willing to do that.
Over on ESPN Wisconsin, this is the Homer Hour. Josh, Tony filling in for Steve the Homer True. We're talking to Jason Wilde. Over on ESPN.com, Bill Barnwell, the David Foster Wallace of our era in sports writing, released his rankings of the wide receivers, tight ends, and running back groups for 2025. The Packers came in at 17th, which is up from 28th last season. First, Jason, I want to know what your thoughts are on that ranking of 17, and how high do you think the Packers can get with the guys they have and some of the unknowns and knowns that are at the skill positions for the Packers?
Yeah, look, I mean, Bill Barr knows more about the rest of the league than I do, so I'm not going to say his ranking is right, wrong, or indifferent. I would say that, they just got so many guys that still have so much more to prove, and it's still, even though, Tucker Kraft is going into year 3, I think we have a pretty good idea of how good he is, but we don't know about Luke Musgrave. I don't think we know about any of the wide receivers decisively, again, with the time that we've spent on the guy that led them in receptions and yards and not being so sure about his future. And then obviously at running back, we know what Josh Jacobs is. I think Emmanuel Wilson is underrated. He came from a small school, but the dude averaged 5 yards a carry. That's hard to do. And we have no idea what Marshawn Lloyd is, other than a guy who has some of the worst luck I've ever seen of an NFL player when it comes to injuries. So 17, middle of the pack, seems fair, but I keep going back to this, but if the guys that we've seen flashes of brilliance from turn out to be the players that they are when we see those flashes of brilliance, and now they do it more frequently and more consistently, and the quarterback is included in that, this team could be damn good. And so, again, I don't know what it's going to look like on September 7th when they play the Lions at Lambeau, and 4 days later when they play the Commanders. If they're as good as we think they're capable of being, all those guys got to play well from the jump, because the last thing they need to be is 0-2 at home against two NFC North or NFC conference competitors that are vying for that Super Bowl berth on that side of the bracket. So those guys that we're all talking about, those skill position guys that there's so much talent, but it isn't entirely proven. Most of them have to have big years for them to be as good as they think they can be.
I forgot about Marshawn Lloyd, but see what happens there.
Easy to
do.
Yeah.
Would he play 6 total snaps during the regular season? I think so.
He had 6 carries. I think he played 10 snaps.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. So basically, they drafted a rookie this year, rookie running back. His name is Marshawn Lloyd. That's good to know. Jason, I know everyone associated with Wilde and Tausch has Mizorowski fever and has been probably to all of the games. We were talking on this show about sporting events that happened in the state of Wisconsin that you wish you could go back in time and attend, just because Mizorowski is pretty much must watch, must attend. What instantly comes to mind for you? It had to have happened inside the state of Wisconsin at any era, at any time. A sporting event you wish you could go back and see live and in person. But let me throw this at you. This isn't reporter Jason. I want Jason at County Stadium in 1982 mentality here. That's what I want to hear from.
Yeah, well, that Jason went to ALCS Game 4 and went to World Series Game
pretty good
4 also.
Oh, that's awesome.
So those don't count. And I was lucky enough to go to my share of Bucks games at the old Mecca. So, first of all, one of the coolest things I've ever been in person at, and I know you're a big Bucks guy, Tony, is I was covering it, so it doesn't fit your fan profile, but seeing the Bradley Center the way it was during that 2001 team's run to the Eastern Conference Finals, and should have won Game 7 if they would have had Scotty Williams available to them. I look at that as some of the coolest stuff to be there for. Obviously, I've been in the press box for all kinds of great moments in Packers history. I was in the stands in 1992 for Robin Yount's 3,000th hit.
You were at that game?
So I was.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I was a student at UW-Madison, and I bought tickets last minute, sat in the Euchre seats up in the upper right corner of the upper deck. But I was there, and that was important to me. So I will say this, the one moment that I was not there for, because I was in no way thinking he would actually retire, Paula and I had planned a trip to Oregon in March of 2008 when Favre retired. And so I was not at that press conference. And I would have liked to have been there because Lord knows I would have had some questions for the gunslinger. But I wasn't there to ask any of them.
Do you still have your ticket stub from that game? From the Robin Yount game?
I do, and then they gave me like a certificate.
Who are we talking to?
Yeah, that was a stupid question.
I need to talk to Jeff from Jeff Sports, though, because I actually have a ticket stub that is signed by him from that game.
Ooh. Nice.
And I'd be curious to know what's it worth, as Homer likes to ask Jeff.
Was there any doubt that he had that stub?
No. I mean, if
100%
you watch Wilde and Tausch on the YouTube feed and you see Jason's adorned basement studio, yeah, I had a pretty good inkling that was some. And to be fair to Jason here, I always want to be fair. That is one of those all-time moments.
Yeah, that's my bad for you. Yeah, that's on me. I should have known. I should know you better.
So let me ask you guys this, because I have considered, Paula and I have had this conversation, and she and the girls think it's creepy and weird. Okay, so
I am listening.
Who better to ask than you two knuckleheads?
Oh, yep, we're dialed in. Let's hear it.
So I have Robin Yount's number now, which if I would have told 10-year-old me that someday I would have his phone number, I would have never believed it, right? And I just would not. It is. I've texted him a couple times when we've wanted him on the show, but he's like the one person that I still would be nervous about texting.
Yeah.
Like when he's been on the show, he's awesome as a guest, and so I love it when he's on. And I don't get all nervous. I probably talked to him probably a dozen times now in my career, going back to the Badger Herald at UW back in like 1992. But I have all these different Robin Yount bobbleheads. I have that certificate. I have a stadium seat from County Stadium that is signed by him. I have baseballs, one that a sports writer from the Milwaukee Journal got signed for me, that are individualized, and on one side it says from Yount, and the other side it's from Molitor. So I got all this cool memorabilia, and it's all kind of, the girls call it a shrine.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is, now that, Robin and I are so tight,
buds,
if we had him do like a podcast episode, and Tony, this is your area of expertise, and for some reason he was going to be in Green Bay, would I leave all that stuff up for him to see, or would I have to take it all down because it's creepy, stalkery, weird that a 53-year-old guy owns all that stuff about a guy that's been retired now for 30 years from baseball and is going to turn 70 in September? What would be the proper, is it creepy or not?
It's creepier that his birthday's in September than it is for you to own all of these things. That is what we call the decor, man. If you get Robin Yount to come to your place and shoot an episode, we are going to put that shrine in the background. It's going to look awesome on YouTube. I'm all in on this. Side note, because I know Chris Larson's going to murder us if we don't get to break. The first time we had Robin Yount on Wilde and Tausch, both of you guys were nervous. I was trembling to call him, and I got you his phone number. I just want to give myself credit for that one.
Pat on the back to Tony.
Yep. I stole it from Tausch, but still.
I think the proper move for you, Jason, is to keep some of the artifacts, memorabilia, voodoo dolls you got, and put some away. You can't overdo it, but to show that, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time, and here is why we have you here, I think that's fine, because I think Robin Yount understands how important his era of Brewers baseball was to, I don't know, the majority of the people in the state.
I wasn't alive when he played, and I met him before the playoff game last year, and he came up to me and goes, hi, I'm Robin Yount, and I was like, yeah, I know, shook his hand. It was very cool.
So you're saying I should not text him a picture of the shrine?
I would.
So we can all agree on that.
Don't text a picture. No. Don't
Just
send
want to make
that.
sure we're all on the same page.
No,
Right,
but now, before the Brewers playoff series starts and we do we'll come up with a creative name, playoff special from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now we have decor. We don't even have to rent it like we did for Made 'em Believe. This is great.
There you go. Anything for the team, guys.
Team first. All right, Jason, thanks for your time today. You back on Wilde and Tausch tomorrow?
I am tomorrow, and then Friday, I'm the only member of the cast who will be on. We'll have Brian Bulaga and Riley Yaukin as our cousin subs of the day on Friday. But we're live from the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield tomorrow, so hopefully you guys have time in your schedule. You guys can swing by and say hi during the show.
I would love to. I'll be producing here for that show, but I will be the number one listener who isn't on that program. I can assure you that.
Thank you for your service.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, as he said, tune in tomorrow. They'll be live. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy will also be live from the Pella Experience Center. They're trying to get as many people out there. They got a bunch of cool stuff going on. But coming up next, we will discuss some of the answers we've gotten of the bucket list Wisconsin-based sporting events that you would like to attend. This is the Homer Hour.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We've still got big delays around the area. An accident on 94 eastbound right about at 92nd Street off on the right shoulder, so be careful with that. Delays continue all the way through to about 35th Street. Westbound's backed up out of the Marquette, pretty much all the way to Calhoun. And then beyond that, from Sunny Slope Road all the way to Highway 164. We've also got a crash on eastbound 94 right about at Highway 164. Luckily, it's off on the left shoulder. Issue on northbound 41 right about at Mayfair Road. We do have a crash there off on the left shoulder. And then delays basically from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound is backing up from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Tsunami Express Car Wash. Drive a clean car every day. Tsunami Express Car Wash makes driving in style simple with unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Get your first car wash free when you sign up online at tsunamiexpress.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly clear, cooler, a low of 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 77 at the lake, 82 inland. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog, custom t-shirts, and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround. For all your printing needs, bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Ready to escape to a resort that has it all? The Island Resort and Casino is your total thrill getaway, where championship golf, a luxury spa, world-class gaming, and epic entertainment come together. Tee it up at Sweetgrass and Sage Run. Unwind at the Drift Spa. Dine, play, win, repeat. Go all in on an unforgettable getaway. Book your total experience today at islandresortandcasino.com.
Escape to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, where everything is better at the lake. Dive into endless outdoor activities, including boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on the serene Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind in the award-winning Calidora Spa. Enjoy gourmet meals at 1878 on the lake, casual bites at the Lookout Bar and Eatery, and sweet treats at the Isle of Capri Cafe. Explore Delavan Lake's stunning shores and historic landmarks from the comfort of their 76-foot cruise boat, the Lake Lawn Queen. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road, or visit PellaWI.com today.
Modernizing business technology is critical for a positive impact on efficiency and reducing operating costs. That's exactly what Tri-City National Bank found out when they called on James Imaging Systems. Listen to Bank CIO Robert Prang.
We also went through a large retooling of our print environment, changing from where we had almost 200 printers.
All the way down to just 97 printers. That's Managed Print Services from James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed Wisconsin business technology company.
So being able to work with a local company like James that has that flexibility with their staff and being able to deliver for us has given us the ability to make the right decisions for our organization.
Robert, would you recommend Managed Print Services from James Imaging Systems?
Yes, in a heartbeat. I would recommend James.
Learn more at jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Drive a clean car every day. Tsunami Express Car Wash makes driving in style simple with unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Become a member and enjoy premium fast lane access, free vacuums, and powerful tire air, all included in your membership. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, New Berlin, and Mount Pleasant, it's easier than ever to get a winning wash with Milwaukee's favorite car wash team. Sign up and score big at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Josh DiMaggio, Tony Cartagena in for the legend Steve the Homer True. We're looking for you guys to give us some of your best answers of the Wisconsin bucket list sporting events that you wish you could attend. The only caveat is they need to have happened right here in Wisconsin. We've gotten plenty of feedback right away. I don't know, Tony, if you've offered your final or your best option. Do you have a power rankings? Do you have a Mount Rushmore?
I just have the way my brain operates is abnormal. It's just like a lot of things.
A lot of thoughts.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
And it brought me back to 2008. And essentially down the stretch, any of those games that Sabathia was pitching.
Yes.
But I think the one to me that sticks out the most, because I remember watching it, and it was at my uncle's house, and it was because the Packers played at like noon, but I think the Brewers started at 1. So we watched the Packers game, and then the Brewers were going back and forth, and the Brewers won, and Sabathia pitched, I believe, a complete game in what would have been the final Sunday of the baseball season in 2008. And then everyone stayed at the stadium, and I think they may have illegally streamed. I want to say it was like the Mets or someone, because someone else had to lose or win for them to get into the playoffs. And I think staying there for that celebration at Miller Park, that's what it was named then, would have been really, really cool. I also remembered quick, this is just more like historian, I think the greatest sporting event you can see live, especially if you're sitting close, is boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing and basketball, if you're courtside, boxing, if you were close, is the best sport to see in person. When Muhammad Ali passed away, I remember reading an article, I think it was in the Wisconsin State Journal. Jason Wilde might have wrote it. And when he went by the name Cassius Clay as an amateur, he fought in Wisconsin at the UW Fieldhouse of all places. So one of my all-time favorite athletes and just icons on University of Wisconsin's campus. Seeing that in person would have been, just incredible.
That's like the Mount Rushmore of all-time athletes, period.
Yeah, seeing Muhammad Ali fight anywhere.
Yeah.
I would watch him fight in a bar. It would have been cool.
So get us your Wisconsin bucket list sporting event, 800-990-3776. This one from Rudy from Sheboygan is a doozy long, so I'm going to try and sort of summarize it here, but it is impressive. And frankly, I am jealous. I was 9 years old when Robin got his 3,000th hit at County Stadium. My dad and I took my best friend and his dad to a game that night. We were just hoping to see a moment in a piece of history. To reciprocate, just 11 days later, my friend and his dad took my dad and I to a Packers game. That game was versus the Bengals at Lambeau Field when Brett Favre relieved Don Makowski of injury and scored a last-minute touchdown to Kittrick Taylor, ushering in the Brett Favre era for the Green Bay Packers.
That is a good 2 weeks, my man. Who is that?
That is Rudy in Sheboygan.
Rudy,
so in the span
that is epic. Epic.
Banked got 2 all-time Wisconsin sports moments in the span of just 2 weeks. I turned 10 years old, and my fandom was set.
I didn't realize those two things happened so close to one another. That's like one of those things where you don't realize like the age of like Robin Yount getting his 3,000th when Brett Favre was playing.
Yeah,
that doesn't add up in my head, but that is a cool 2 weeks, that's for sure.
This one comes from not Gabe Neitzel, but Adam in the 623. Tiger at the Greater Milwaukee Open. That was
he made his debut, right?
Yes, his cool debut, and one of the all-time moments, and one of those things that's like a fun fact. And golf is one of those things, especially to see. Tiger, had he not had the personal life fallout, would probably be close to one of those Mount Rushmore all-time athletes. So that one is unique, too, because it doesn't have to be a sports team, a Packers, a Brewers, a Bucks, Badgers. It is something that was sort of a one-off, something that you can't go to anymore. It doesn't exist. So that one is a unique one. Keep getting us your answers. Keep getting us your ideas. We'll move over to the YouTube chat next and send you out, hopefully with a little Bucks conversation. This is the Homer Hour.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. On this show, it's always football season.
Zach Tom is one of your core players. You identify a core player early, you sign them long-term, and you get them at a better rate.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
When you're forcing guys to consistently prove it, and there's no risk on the table for them, there becomes some semblance of resentment.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their Pull Tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins Pull Tab with a sub or sub-able purchase for a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pulltabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Hi, Mitzi. What's the news from Kessler's and Brookfield?
Everything's smooth like butter. We're all just marching to the beat of the big bass drum.
That sounds like fun.
Your email said you wanted to talk about 32 things. What are they?
The 32 things are rare and special engagement rings.
Tell me more.
Each one of these amazing rings is just waiting for someone to choose the center stone.
What about the side stones?
All the side stones are Kessler 81s.
81 windows exploding with light instead of just 57 windows that are modestly glowing like most other diamonds.
We have 16 rings in 18 karat gold and 16 rings in platinum.
All they need is a center diamond?
Yeah, and our prices on natural center diamonds and created center diamonds are incredibly low right now.
Each store has a beautiful assortment of these rings?
Yes, and they're priced from just $900 up to $3,900.
Good job. Keep marching to the beat of that big bass drum, Mitzi.
I'm excited.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Summer is the time for heading out to Elkhart Lake and enjoying the high-class racing at Road America. ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talks with driver Graham Rahal about what he loves about the track and the atmosphere at Road America.
When you come to tracks in the Midwest, like Road America, what is it like for you to race in front of that type of crowd that you probably grew up racing in front of for a majority of your life?
For me, on a personal level, Road America is my favorite. So, really highlights what's great about IndyCar racing, the speed, the braking capability, the cornering, all of those things. And I think it's just a great track to go to each and every year. It's just a track that we absolutely love. I think you've got always that Midwestern sort of love, and feel to it. The fans are extremely nice. They're very passionate. They're excited that we're there. So I feel like Road America is always just a great fit.
Find schedule and ticket info today at roadamerica.com. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Homer Hour back with you, Josh DiMaggio and Tony Cartagena. And we've been asking you all show long what bucket list Milwaukee sporting events would you like to attend. Before we get to our discount liquor poll that we posted that has nothing to do with that we plan to get to and we failed at, I am going to give you some more of the answers I have. Josh in Heartland says the Brust versus Jesse Nelson bowling event. We all remember that legendary moment in sports history.
Funny. That's well done.
Bill chimes in and says, I was at Trevor Hoffman's 600 career save game.
Dude, it took him like 12 chances to get it. That was the most pathetic run that the Brewers had. That was so
atmosphere, energy, and electricity of every pitch was incredible. Sorry that Tony rained on one of your all-time moments.
No, I think I was there, and I do not remember it that way.
I don't remember it that way either.
I think it legit. We'd have to go look. I think it took him 4 pity closes to go and get that 600th one.
Over to the YouTube chat, we have a few people weighing in there as well. We've got Kobe saying the Texans-Packers game in snow at Lambeau a few years ago now. I don't remember the significance of that game. I think that was it the matchup of like Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, that whole thing?
Ago. I think that one was last year.
Yeah, it might have been.
The snow game that I always remember is what it was, 07 Seahawks Packers.
Yep.
For sure was at Lambeau, and the Packers went down like 14-0 early and then didn't give up another point and ended up losing in the NFC Championship game that year. But that game was snowy.
Yes. Over to the YouTube chat again, we have Share Hikes weighing in. Obviously, the 1996 NFC Championship game, but that one stands for me, was the 1987 Easter Sunday Rod Deer 9th inning home run that kept the undefeated season alive.
That's fun. Any walk-off like that is always going to be cool. The comment right below that one is, I wish I was at Packers-Bears where Rodgers came back in second half from an injury to lead one of the biggest comebacks in Packers history. I covered that game.
Yeah.
That game was incredible. Just incredible.
I was out at a local establishment here enjoying a few beverages. And that's one of those games that sticks out is I'm going to remember where I was because of how legendary that game was and just how much fun it was to watch. Not only the comeback, but it be against the hated Chicago Bears.
Anything against the Bears is awesome. Randall Cobbs, was that the playoff or the game to go to the playoffs? Was that in Green Bay? That might have been in Chicago.
I think that was Chicago.
The NFC Championship game was in Chicago. So I know we have a Bucks question. Go check it out on Twitter. It's fine. We're not going to talk about it on today's show.
Shout out to Discount Liquor.
Yep. That Packers-Bears game. So Rodgers then he wins the game.
Yep.
Hits Cobb coming down the sideline, and then goes to the post-game presser, and they're like, "What happened?" He just yells, "My knee!"
Yeah. Yeah.
How? So you were out and about. Do you remember seeing that part of it? Because I missed that in real time, and it sounded epic.
I do not remember seeing that. I did, obviously, after that. That video did make a circulation. It was clear there were some supplements to help out our guy there.
God, I wish that man never went crazy.
A couple more
so
here
good.
before we let you go. Taylor in Waukesha. I was at Packers versus Bengals. Ocho did the Lambeau leap. Go Bengals. What the heck? Also, the Bucks snapping the Warriors 24-0 streak was crazy.
Oh,
electric.
that is a good one.
Here's a deep cut. UFC 164 Milwaukee, when Milwaukee's own Anthony Showtime Pettis won his belt. A lot of good options there. A lot of interesting ones.
There, you could probably go, because I would assume when they won to go to the NBA Finals in 71 might have been here. Like, there's some on that stretch would have been really, really cool, too.
Have we even mentioned Game 6?
No, but we can talk about how in the future game I want to go to is when Jacob Mizorowski pitches a complete game shutout in the World Series this year.
All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We've got Thanalysis with your very own Thanasis and Antetokounmpo and Tony Carter hanging up next. This has been the Homer Hour.
Still dealing